Hello and welcome back to From That Moment She Neglected the World. I'm your host, Lynx, and well, let us get back to reading. I continued to practice diligently under her watchful instruction of her master. The faint rumbling of thunder interrupted our modest life. Sounds good to me, to be honest. I like thunder. Following the thunder came a brief shower of sweet rain under clear and sunny skies. I broke through to the foundation establishment stage. What does that mean? Meditating to stabilize the spiritual energy circulating through my body, I guided the torrents rampaging within my body, ignoring the beds of sweat rolling down my forehead. Okay. With my breath consciously steadied, my mind was focused entirely on cultivation. After another 3 days and nights, I finally opened my eyes. I had moved into the second stage in record time. Whereas many lingered in quick cultivation for their entire lives, I reached foundation establishment already. In exchange, I struggled through quelling the rapids of energy. Master worried that my fast progress would become an obstacle for me in the future. It could be. Master, I broke through! Congratulations, Lixue. Let's celebrate. If you have anything you desire, voice it and I will try to obtain it for you. Yes, and let us go visit the Darling Sect to retrieve a few items. Did you leave an important item there? After refusing to return to the Darling Sect for decades, she suddenly brought up the idea. I could not imagine what might have spurred on the initiative. Your seniors won't mind giving something to the elder's most promising disciple. Okay. I blinked. How devious of a master! I tried to control my cheek muscles. Does Lixue see me as rigid? Having a sharp mind can win you many victories. But aside, I'm sure that they will all like you. They're all good people. I wonder about that. I mean, it's a sect, so... Anyway, meeting more people will be a good experience. People are beloved and to be protected. Maybe not all of them. I tilted my head. I already had someone I loved there dearly. Master. Other people I did not particularly care for. Yeah. As if she heard my thoughts, she pat my head. Go get cleaned up. I prepared something special for you before we head off to the sect. Thank you, Master. I look forward to it. Bowing once, I ran off to wash away the excess impurities expelled from my body. You mean sweat? Afterward, I returned to Master's room. She handed me a sword, a very special sword. I could feel its radiance from when she held it in her hands and when she stepped to approach me. This sword shares some of its fate with you. With a simple declaration of fate, this and I formed a partnership. As she placed it in my hands, a gentle pulse of spiritual energy rippled through me. Feng Guang. Okay, let's have a look at this. Is it appearing here? Alright, let's have a look. A mythological bird with superficial similarities to the Western phoenix. Okay. They're symbols of the royal family and the union of yin-yang, the blissful relationship between husband and wife. Feng refers to the males and of the species, while Huang refers to the females of the species. Depending on the era, both genders may be amalgamated into one feminine Feng Guang, which is paired with the dragon. Alright. It was warmth, and the warmth of someone's love for someone else. The sound of the cry of a Feng and Huang. As something that reminded me of Master and of someone else. I nearly forgot to speak. I like it very much, Master. This Fengguan sword. I'm sure it's happy that you like it. I became a partner for a long time. As for what I requested from Master at that time, I simply asked to continue being her pampered disciple. Just like that, 200 years passed. 200! Nay. I grew up, but Master did not change. Just like that night from so long ago, she still seemed like a fairy who disappeared until she touched my head and reminded me she was here. The lifespans of cultivators must have seemed otherworldly to the common people. I mean, your life is also like... Technically, basically... Are you not a cultivator yet? Or are you still just a student? I mean, still, you survived 200 years, that's... Wow. If I had not been picked up by Master, my halcyon days with her would have been cut short long ago. Yeah? Like... 120, 130 years ago. I reached nascent soul 1 year ago. What does it mean? What she could directly teach me diminished over time. Master was not much of a sword cultivator, whereas we found that my spirit resonated with the sword. Wait, it's not explained. I need to know. Nascent soul. In this stage, cultivators reform their collapsed core into the nascent soul. By undergoing this transformation, the cultivators have to pass a hard demon tribulation that tests their mettle and resolve. If one fails the tribulation, the nascent soul scatters, as does one mind or soul. Luckily, ones live on as mad lunatics. I wouldn't call it lucky, while the unfortunate ones die. I would say it's... Honestly, I would say it's the other way around here. I mean... I would say, unfortunately, the unlucky ones become, you know, living mad lunatics, and the fortunate one ceases to exist. I would say, but I mean, guess it depends on the perspective. Anyway, what she could directly teach me diminished over time. Master was not much of a sword cultivator, whereas we found that my spirit resonated with the sword. At the moment, Master was in closed-door cultivation. Temporarily, we could not meet. What a rare occurrence that was. Master's cultivation had stayed where it was since we met. For a soul transformation forebear, perhaps her lack of movement was unrare. Oh, you really did grow up. In those 200 years. Still cute. Like Master's cultivation, the peach tree in the courtyard also remained unchanged. Non-flowering. Fengguan sword, when will the peach tree blossom? My skills in divination had also remained unchanged. Not even an ancient spirit sword could help me. Fengguan sword, this partner that Master gave me, was unexpectedly an ancient treasure, yet Master had no qualms handing it to me. Okay. Today as well I practiced my swings. I cut a leaf that had floated before me. I practiced for a number of hours before taking a break to rest. Leaning onto the peach tree, I raised my hand over my eyes as the tree's lack of foliage failed to serve as shade. Somehow in those casual actions I accidentally cut my hand on my blade. A deep crimson dash of blood fell on the sword and seemed to disappear. The wound, although it stung fiercely, closed up quickly afterward. A spirit. Why did I awaken from my butterfly dream? Fengguan sword, you still remember me? Huh? I jerked around to face the person who had appeared out of thin air. The person whose presence I had not sensed even a little. Who are you? I pointed my sword at her. Woo! She jumped out of the way, landing on the tip of my sword like a feather. As if taunting me, she leaned in to take a closer look at my face before hopping right off. Ooh, you're a Fengguan sword's current wielder? I felt as if she could have disarmed me easily. To think the person who woke me up was a kid like you. That's fine.
I'll atone, I can do that. What are you talking about? What can I say? I was the person who forged your sword.
Fengguan's sword. He hummed in agreement, pulsing warmly with affection towards this mysterious stranger.
You woke me up. I should ask you who you are.
I slowly lowered my sword.
Is that so?
Array.
If you are the person who forged the sword, you must be some sort of lingering spirit, or are you an array hidden within the sword, imbued with the personality of your maker?
Array. Let's have a look. Spell formations typically drawn like a magic circle, often with an area of effect. Result. Alright. So, to translate into modernity, kind of like a recording of the person, right?
Why did you appear here before me? What can I say but that you simply happen to meet the qualifications? I am, yes, a lingering spirit is a good way to put it, but be at ease. I have no interest in causing you or yours any harm as long as you don't do anything to me or mine. I can even swear on the heavenly way if you want, the hollow with the lightning strike of retribution and all. I'm not so pedantic as to make you do that. Fengguan sir trusts you, so I believe what you say.
To be completely honest, I had a few times wondered what meeting the maker of my precious partner's sword would be like. Admired her to be able to make such a sword. A person long dead, even meeting a remnant of her hidden within her masterpiece of a sword was quite an unexpected miracle. Of course, the person was much different from my imagination.
You're a good kid? A sword cultivator? Yeah. Oh, what a coincidence. I was one as well. Since that's the case, why don't you call me elder sister? It's impossible for my sword to have fallen into the hands of someone from that sect. So, it's impossible for you to call me senior sister or martial aunt. You must be much younger than me. How could I instantly call you elder sister? Oh, my heart had yet to turn white when I died. The dead are all dead. You and I had no relationship in life, so I don't expect any pity between junior and senior. If you did not call me sister and just smoking, it's fine.
I feel like I've heard that name before. Mooking. I wonder where. Mooking. Is the martial god of the southwest, with a total of 7,000 temples dedicated to his palace. 800 years ago, he was the personal attendant of Xie Lian and was responsible for household chores like washing clothes and dressing him. Okay. Interesting.
Huh? I'm sure you were curious.
Spirits do not tell others their names freely, as names could be used to bind a spirit's origin.
It's a piece of insurance I'm giving you.
I did not understand her at all at the time. She was, until the end, the confusing sister Mooking. She leaned her back onto the peach tree, glancing upwards as if saddened that it would not flower. I wondered if she planned to cultivate to maintain a physical body of spiritual energy. Thinking of the time that passed, I decided to return to my sword routine.
What will you do now? I'll just be sticking around. I see.
That would potentially be a bother.
Don't let me distract you from practice. But the senior of yours give you a few pointers now and then. Oh, consider this something like philosophical teachings. Let's have some conversation to fill the time as well.
The next day and the day after, she was still here.
You're curious about what cultivation practices were popular and what secret manuals were hidden through the realm back in the day? Yes, I am! They say that the the source of the current cultivation realm were much closer to ascension than us who cultivate now. But you've reached the nascent soul in just over 200 years. Geniuses are geniuses, huh? I doubt much has changed. Major sects and families will hold on to their secret manuals, secret lands, and their spiritual vines and resources. Maybe some of those secrets have been forever lost, their owners unwilling to share them, preferring to let them perish instead. Is there anything in particular you have in mind? How to forge a sword like Feng Wang's sword? Oh, I can teach you that. Really? Of course. The first step is to manifest spirit forging flames. Call your spiritual energy with the very will of your heart into a fire that can only belong to you. But Feng Guang's sword was a bit of a miracle back then as well. The materials may be a bit hard for you to get your hands on. To quench the blade, it took the blood of the Feng Guang freely given, 1,000-year spirit water from a volcanic spring, the tears of nearly enlightened Buddhist cultivator, and a scale from a carp that had succeeded in jumping over a waterfall to become a dragon. What? The spring water and scale, with now connections, you can get them from the inventory of some major sect. Those crusty old types hang onto the treasures without ever using them. The tears of a Buddhist cultivator? Well, let's just say, you'd have to rack your brains to get one of those stoic folks to cry. Here's a hint. Even monks will cry when cutting onions. Of course. As for the blood of Feng Guang, it came from my friend. Friend? A dear friend with whom I made a love contract with. Are you speaking of the Feng Guang? Yeah. Although I should tell you now that you shouldn't make life contracts. Because if the beast dies, you die as well. No, because if you die, the child will die as well. I wrong him by dying. Oh, he must be a truly precious friend.
Think about the mystic beast that contributed to this sword. I gave a quiet word of thanks to him. The Feng Guang was gone, but Feng Guang's sword accompanied me well.
You're a good kid. Are your regrets from him the reason your spirit lingers connected to the sword? No, it's not. It really isn't.
An indescribable emotion flashed in her eyes.
I spoke so much about the sword that we veered off topic. Was there something else you were curious about? Perhaps what the state of affairs with demonic cultivators was like.
Not everyone could receive a history lesson from someone who lived the events themselves.
Oh, that's another thing that likely hasn't changed. Righteous or no? Righteous, no. Orthodox cultivators fight with demonic cultivators like snakes and mongooses. Do they still use that analogy? The major difference between now and then is probably just that the world back then was in chaos.
Trust me, it is still. In its own way.
Demonic sects sprouting up here and there. Major Orthodox sects finding corruption within their midst. All sorts of messy affairs and all sorts of violence. What about the Ancient Calamity?
The Ancient Calamity was the last Grandmaster of the demonic cultivators. The monstrous person who united the demonic sects. She brought the cultivation realm to the brink of collapse before being slain.
Ancient Calamity. I've never heard that epithet before. Maybe she came after your time, or maybe she went by a different name back then.
As I mused, she paused.
Something you should remember is that history is written by the selfish. Not by the righteous? Never by truly righteous.
So true. I want to disagree, but could not find the words to say. True. It's true. While passing time with her, this spirit of yore, I found myself yearning for Master more and more. Although I enjoyed Mooking's company, that slight edge only served to emphasize my longing for the Master. The greed part of me did not have these feelings when alone. Only upon finding companion to spend some idle days with did I realize. Growing up, I no longer clung to Master like a little duckling. Now, I wish I had clung to her a little bit more, before she went to cultivate in isolation. Closed-door cultivation could extend for years on end. Ooh.
Which lover has left you sight like a young maiden waiting for her husband to return from battle? What lover? I was thinking about my master who is in closed-door cultivation right now. Even if I'm right here, rather than spending time with you, I would prefer to spend it with master. So cruel of you to say, when you were the one who woke me from my dreams. Well, I can understand liking some people more than the others. To make up for my broken heart, tell me more about your dear master who you prefer over me. Must you phrase it that way? Don't worry about it. The treasurance makes me even more apprehensive.
Letting out a sigh, I return to meditation. I search within me to find my inner flames and draw out spirit-forging fire. The flow of the spiritual energy within me seemed to slow as I waded through it, hoping to exit into a form it had never held before. The courtyard fell silent. Finally, a flicker of fire appeared in my palm. Just as quickly as it came, it left.
Ooh, impressive progress.
I closed my palm and opened it again. The flames had no heat. I thought that it would burn me, but instead it felt cold like snow in that singular moment of manifestation.
Master is a fairy. At first glance, she seems like she's an ethereal being far detached from the living, but her heart is so warm and her smile so blindingly beautiful. And maybe a little lonely.
Even though I had been here with her for the past 200 years. I let out a gasp of surprise as our spar ended. She was teaching me some sword techniques and pulled me into a spar after a request from me. The end result was a quick loss on my end and a soft bop on the head with her practiced sword.
Phew. As expected, taking on physical form is a bit tedious. A bit tedious? Even so, you're skillful. Please give me some butter so that I might last longer in our next spar. Of course.
She began to explain, showing how she had beaten me with her ghostly body. She reenacted the spar's final moments slowly and then at normal speed. Then she adjusted my stance, saying that my build worked better with a modified form. Her hands on mine, cold like ice, reminded me that she was long dead. Once she finished instructing, she let out a light yawn as if bored. She leaned back against the bare peach tree like a smug feline stretching her limbs.
Talking of you reminds me of someone. My butterfly dream, my Xuan Mengdi. No, forget what I said. You truly aren't particularly similar. Meng Meng isn't like you at all. Who was she? She was my most precious person. How romantic it would be to say that we were fated to be together from the moment we met, but it really wasn't like that. The first time we met, I brushed her off without even thinking. The young miss of a big plan and a beggar on the street. The second time we met, we fought without even seeing each other's faces.
Ooh.
In hindsight, before we even exchanged names, before we finally talked with each other for the first time, we met so many times. Not a single one of those meetings was a romantic fated meeting. Rather, was one of the first things I said to her. Not even my father has slapped me before. Incorrigible. She slapped you? I see.
I could not imagine a good relationship starting from conflict and violence. Yeah, but she spoke very fondly of this Xuan Mingdi.
Both of us were the hard-headed type. Not that this is something to be proud of, but my head was objectively harder. For example, when she tried to headbutt me, her head hurt more than mine in the end.
My forehead throbbed with phantom pain.
That sort of hard-headedness. What can I say? She was a really earnest woman. Underneath a cold, hard-cracked exterior, she was more honest than anyone else, to the point that it should have burned me. If you let me continue, I'll talk about Meng Meng forever. I don't mind.
Muking seemed happy to talk. I had no reason to stop her.
You're a good kid.
She pat my head before intentionally ruffling my hair, caused me to sputter as I swatted her hand away to fix the mess she made.
She was also my greatest regret.
I nearly did not hear her whisper.
Huh?
Feng Guan's sword let out a sad cry in my hand.
Never mind that. Should you get back to practicing, diligent little student Ming?
Who was diligent little student Ming? Oi! Feeling an exasperated sign bubble up in my throat, I wondered if she would give me some sort of demented nickname from a joke I did not understand.
You can call me Lixue. Lixue? That's a pretty good name. Yes. After all, Master gave it to me.
The days continued to pass after I told her my name. With Master still in closed door cultivation, I had little else to do but spend my time with Sister Muking. A ball of cold fire appeared in my palm. This time not dispersing at the slightest breeze, only when I closed my hand did it disappear.
With the rate of your progress, I'll teach you a secret technique. The forged flames can be used to forge your very essence into a blade. If they can make swords out of ingots, naturally they can sharpen your soul. In cases where you do not want to cut the physical body, but rather need to cut the spiritual, would a blade made out of your soul not be better? That was a question posed by a venerated elder of my former sect. They wanted so badly to perfect a spirit blade made of one's soul itself that they made the idea the secret technique of the sect. Not that they succeeded themselves. I suppose I can thank them for setting the foundation and nothing else. Is it right for you to share the technique with me? Of course, after all, I was the one who completed the technique. Which sect did you belong to again? As of now, I belong to none, although Master was part of the Dalin sect. That's fine. Is there a sect that you have a grudge with? Let's just say that I dislike some.
Her feelings could not have been only at the level of dislike, but seeing her expression I did not bother to pry. Unless that she was happier than another time when talking about the mysterious Xuan Mengdi. That person who I had never met was painted in my mind by her descriptions.
Meng Meng was a calamitous beauty. She was born in the mortal realm below the cultivation realm. And she was picked up by some cultivator from a major sect to aid him in his cultivation. Aid? It's better that you don't understand what I mean. Luckily she rid herself of him and was able to cultivate herself. It's only that... Yes, at first we were really at odds with each other. The entire world was at odds with her. For the longest time she had lived a misfortunate life. You know how I mentioned that the world was filled with violence? She was embroiled in it, stuck in the eye of the storm with no way out. I guess she was tired. I was so tired of fighting and killing demonic cultivators all the time. What ascension and enlightenment, what balance of the heavenly way, was all just blood and blood. It was not common for cultivators to go into the Qui deviation, filled up to their eyes with bloodlust. But somehow, because we were together, we were able to escape from that violence for a while, a little bit at least. How did you do that? We ran away. We found a place just for the two of us, far away from everything going on in the cultivation realm, and promised each other the future. Do you think that's cowardly? Cowardly? Why should there be cowardly?
The world could take and take and take, but the person could only give so much. Rather than to give to a world that hurt her, finding her own happiness seemed like a better choice. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Some people just fill the world with light. When you think about them, your heart is warm, strife is washed away, and hope penetrates the darkness. That was the person she became to me. Do you have someone like that? I don't know. What was she to you? The person I loved the most in this world.
Platonic love or romantic love? I could not identify what sort of love she was talking about. After all, she and that Xuan Mengdi were both women. In the cultivation realm, such coupling had never been accepted. What? Why not? Even so, I could not reject them. I could not deny them. The intensity of her feelings gripped my heart. As expected, this was the strong flame that forged my sword. As such, I put all of my sincerity into finding an answer to her question. The person I loved the most in this world. Maybe mine was Masta.
Make sure to take care of her well. What did Meg do wrong but exist? At the very least, I'm glad for the time we're able to spend together. Since, as you might have guessed, both she and I have died already. Oh!
That was right. That made sense. I simply had not thought of it before. Most likely, the Xuan Mengdi whom she loved, I would never meet her.
She liked eating peaches, so I would peel and cut them for her. Before I died, we prepared a jar of fruit wine and buried it under the tree we planted together. It was meant to be something we would do year and year again. The next year we would dig it up and bury another one. Thereafter that we would do the same. Until our hair turned white and we left the living world. That was what we promised we would do.
Huh?
She gave up ascension for me. She was at the last stage, the ascendant stage. I was too, but other than that, we just wanted to stay together.
The goal of cultivators was to ascend or reach enlightenment. That didn't mean romance between cultivators did not exist, but rather that cultivators never chose love over cultivation.
Why would you not have cultivated together? That was just how things were. So she gave it up for me. Did you ever make it up to her? No. I wish I did.
She turned her face away from me.
How I wish I could have a cup of fruit wine right now.
Unfortunately, there was no fruit wine I knew of on Jui Peak. Which, well, I guess, in a way, was sad. Anywho, let us end the episode for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. We'll see where this all goes, and we'll see if Master decides to get out of her little training as well, because clearly our girl over here is getting the feeling of missing her, basically. Yeah. But that is going to be something we'll see tomorrow. So, for now, hope you enjoyed. As per usual, if you did, consider liking the video. If you're new around and you enjoyed still the video, of course, consider subscribing. Always super appreciated. And once again, tomorrow the continuation. So feel free to drop around. And have a wonderful day. Bye bye.